Going back in time today, almost 20 years to Transformers Cybertron, and taking a look at, thanks to good friend of the channel Maximal 10, this is the original Cybertron Metroplex, leader class Cybertron Metroplex. Him and Drillbit will be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the original Cybertron Metroplex. Unlike the G1, this guy does not turn into a city. This guy turns into a Wheel-Bucket Excavator, which is a real industrial vehicle. I'm probably gonna, somewhere in the actual review, I'm actually probably gonna show a real Wheel-Bucket Excavator, just so you can see it sort of for comparison in terms of size. It is gigantic. I'm not sure if I necessarily would call it a Titan, because it's not so much a base or a city. So it kind of follows much like the ships, you know, the Ark or like Tidal Wave and stuff, where I'm like, yeah, it's big, it's definitely big. I don't know if it should be Titan or not. But we'll talk a little bit about the scale and stuff as we go through. This, of course, is that alt mode. And I left it in this because I think it looks real cool. That said, there are two other modes, Robot as well as Work mode. And we even have a mini-con, by the way, of Drillbit that we have to explore. There's a lot to unpack here, so without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes, indeed, we delve into Transformers Cybertron with the leader class offering of the original Metroplex from the gigantic planet or whatever it is. Apparently it was also Quick Mix and Menasor, who were also supposed to be gigantic. And a lot of people like the size. A lot of people have said it's too small. I don't necessarily think that it is too small. It might be a little bit. It's really weird, but we'll talk about it kind of as we go through things. Now, of course, we all know that Unicron Trilogy stuff's not my wheelhouse, so this is a bit different, but this is on loan to me by a good friend of the channel, Maximal 10. I'm very, very appreciative that we get to take a look at this. No instructions, no box, nothing like that, so we're just going to sort of kind of try and figure it out. And hope for the best, fingers crossed. Now, let's talk about his size for a moment and his look. In terms of his look, starting from the feet going up, I mean, if we compare to the cartoon, I mean, you know, the feet are supposed to be white. Yes, we should even have this hinge here. The blue is correct. The red and blue there is correct. This blue up here arguably should be a little bit lighter, but it might be fine the way it is. The pelvis piece here is fine. The tummy and whatnot, all of that looks pretty darn accurate. The shoulders and arms, yeah, all looks accurate. The head, it all looks pretty accurate. I'm going to say 9.75 for the look. It's probably a 10, but I'm saying 9.75 in case I'm missing something. It's hard to tell, I find, sometimes with CGI stuff. But if it's not a 10, it's a 9.75. Quite an excellent, excellent rendition of Cybertron Metroplex. Now, in terms of the size of the guy, well, if we compare it to a couple of other offerings, for example, most notably, and I'm going to have to use this version of the mold because I actually don't have it. Most notably, let's put Nova Prime in here next to him. There is a scene image, a few scene images actually, that I was able to find of the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime, basically. Well, you know, it's Cybertron Optimus Prime with all of his regalia on. But basically, in modern times, it would be the Cybertron Upgrade Optimus that should come up, like the top of his head should come up to about here. Here, maybe a little higher, maybe the red. So this is a bit small, this is a bit big, but it's in the ballpark. Now, similarly, we could compare it to, by the way, just not for nothing, but leader class, 2005, 2006, leader class, 2023, leader class. Right. Now you know why I hold the company accountable by grams of plastic and actual plastic content that gets used. Because I assure you, there's no higher parts count and no more complex engineering here than it was here. Yeah, you can see the difference. But let's take him out of it for a moment and bring in, this was a Voyager. What I'm about to bring in was a Voyager, by the way. Him. Right? He should be roughly about the same. So if we go back to like 2 molds from that era, this probably should have been about another 3 inches, maybe 4 inches taller. So this kind of clocks in at about a foot tall. It's basically the same size as a modern day Commander class offering, like Jetfire, for example. It probably should have been maybe 15 inches, you know, somewhere around there. As it is though, and for the time, this is still pretty spectacular. Like I said, we have a 9.75 as our start. We're going to do the articulation, I guess. Let's take the spark drinker off of the back. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. Articulation, the head goes left, it goes right, the little earpieces move. The chest can go up. I wish that this kind of tabbed in more. The head itself doesn't seem to go up. The arms, ratcheted all the way around. Oh, it slid down. I find the sliders here can be a little bit of a nuisance sometimes. Ratchet out to the side. Elbow to 90 degrees, bicep swivel, fingers open and close. Wrist swivel? I don't think there's a wrist swivel here. Waist, all nice and ratcheted as well. Leg all the way forward, ratcheted. Leg all the way back, ratcheted. Man, I really wish that these had a better like locking in point, because I do find that the sliders like to slide. Out to the side, thigh swivel. 90 degrees at the knee. Again, because of transformation, I guess you can. I mean, you could chicken leg them if you really wanted to, right? No ankle tilt, but we do have ankle forward, well back, and a little bit forward. And I guess I don't think the bucket pieces or the toe move. So maybe missing an ankle, but that's about it. So I wish that the chest could, I'll say, tab in a little bit better. I wish that the slider here had a kind of a better locking mechanism. And maybe ankle tilt. So I'm going to say that the articulation, there's a lot there and a lot to like. We haven't even looked at drill bit or the spark drinker yet. But man, oh man, really quite impressive. I'm going to give it somewhere around a solid 9 for sure. Also, I guess not for nothing, and I might as well do this now, but the spark drinker, of course, can go wedged in the hand here and held, of course, right? And I guess if you wanted, you could kind of somehow maneuver it across his body or whatever. But again, no instructions, so I'm sort of figuring this out, like kind of sort of as we go here a little bit. So yeah, we'll look at drill bit, we'll look at the spark drinker, but for now, a 9.75 for the look. I'm going to say a 9 for the articulation, which puts this guy right now at about a 9.3, we're going to say. We only have the transformation left, but before we do the transformation, I do want to do another brief comparison, since I have it here, with, I think this was Supreme class. I'm just going to move him over a bit, but like here he is next to Primus, for example. Leader class, Supreme class. The bottom line is that this guy certainly has more bulk to him. This guy is taller, but a lot thinner, a lot more spindly. And I think that's why he's probably leader class. But you know what? Again, being gigantic, being about the size of this guy, about the size of Unicron, like that sort of makes sense to me, I think. I think it makes sense to me. Laying Primus down out of it. Okay, so we're gonna do drill bit and the spark drinker, and then we'll do the transformation of this guy to work mode, and finally to his bucket wheel excavator mode. Okay, so here we have the spark drinker straightened out. We have drill bit placed up here. In order to put drill bit up here, basically what you're doing is, this was the, I don't remember what it's called, the port, the like cyber port, the minicon port, there you go, minicon port. Basically he folds up like this, pretty much in like a vehicle-ish type of mode, in order to use this to attach on the arm of Metroplex. But when you're going this way, you can fold these back, and then there's two little rectangular tabs here, and basically the tires and the guy will basically fit down in the slot and attach over those. It's really strange that they didn't do it with like the minicon port, but okay, whatever, I guess. To do the vehicle mode for this guy, my understanding is you just fold them up over like that, and this is the vehicle mode. Again, I'm going to lay him aside for now. Let's talk about this for a minute. So, we have a bucket here that moves up and down and certainly opens and closes. We have a ratchet here. We have another ratchet here, so dual ratchets, and a third ratchet here, so several ratchets. The handle is up here, of course. It is immobile, and you'll notice that we have a Cyberplanet key here. The one that's supposed to be here, I believe, is supposed to be purple. This one is blue, obviously. Even with it being blue, it still does the same thing, so what you're supposed to do, of course, is have it out. These, you know, these are able to be closed, but if you want to push that up, they open up, and then you take the Cyberplanet key, and you're supposed to be able to slot it in, and it makes these go up, and there's supposed to be a light here that lights up, but it's not lighting up. I don't know if Maximal 10 has batteries in this. I didn't ask them. I think there's supposed to be a sound effect too, but the sound effect is known to stop working after so long, so this is the way it's supposed to be open, like as his axe when it's not in the like bucket excavator mode. That said, of course, if you want to leave it, I mean, you can close it up and even leave the Cyberplanet key in there. A heck of an accessory, a heck of a offensive combat, you know, melee thing. I wouldn't want to see it coming at me. And if you actually know what the like bucket excavator looks like this is fairly accurate to it. Like right there. I mean, you can see right there, I have a little picture put in here. That's what the actual thing looks like. And you may notice, you may not notice, that there are little tiny regular sized vehicles there on the parking lot with it. So this is quite big. I don't know if it's Titanic big, gigantic big, like a base or a city, but it is quite a bit bigger than regular sized vehicles, and ergo, this guy would be quite a bit bigger than regular sized robots. So with the spark drinker kind of done, we can move away from this and take a look at drill bit and kind of his robot mode next. Okay, so here we have drill bit. I could be wrong on this transformation because again, I'm doing this with no instruction, so you gotta bear with me a little bit and give me a bit of leeway. In this mode though, he does roll pretty fantastic. As I said before, if you want him to attach to the bucket, you just fold the legs back, and to attach him to Metroplex altogether, I think you just fold it like this. Again, I could be wrong about some of this. I'm perfectly open to being corrected in the comments or something if I did something wrong. If you think I did something wrong, check the comments. I mean, I don't need the same incorrect comment over and over and over and over, but I'm open to, you know, people making suggestions that, hey, GotBot, that ain't quite right. The arms, they flip out around like this for robot mode. These drills, I guess, drill bits, they flip up on the back, and boom, we have drill bit in his robot mode. Transformation, very simple. I'm going to give that like a 7, an 8, a 9, whatever you want to give it. In terms of look at drill bit, like I'm just including that as part of like the overall Metroplex. I guess this guy's about, again, a 9. Articulation, nothing at the head. The arms obviously can go like around, but they don't go out. There's no elbow or anything like that. The legs can't go out to the side. They can kick forward. They can kick back. If you take this down, then you do get a knee. So you might have to, you know, get the actual like drill bit there out of the way, but you do get a knee, which I think is all right. Very much like other Minicons, Titan Masters, that sort of thing. I'm going to give it about a 5, I guess. It's all right. You're not going to get major dynamic poses, but in terms of these Minicons, this guy actually feels really solid. A lot of Minicons don't that I've experienced, but this guy feels really solid. The plastic feels good and robust, and he's fairly functional. Elbow would have been nice, but that's about the only gripe I really got with something of this size. Okay, so we're going to endeavor to do the transformation, and I like it. I think it's pretty good. By the way, I didn't mention this, but I will now. The spark drinker attaches on the back with 2 pegs here. It's not the most solid connection in the world, but I'll give credit where credit is due, because when it's attached, this is able to like move, so you can adjust it. So like if I take this and I put in, like, it can go back and forth and like all the way around and stuff, right? So I find that neat. That's good for the bucket excavator mode later on. Okay, we're gonna try and do the work mode, I guess, first. I think that would probably make the most sense. And yeah, hopefully this is gonna work. Hopefully this is gonna work. Famous last words. So where do I want to begin with this? I guess I'll begin here. Fold these up for now. Bring that all the way around, and then fold this leg up. So bring that up for now. Split the leg. Fold the leg up. I think. So I got this right. I think I got both of that done correctly. It's just kind of folding the legs up. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. The arms, I think. Yes, we need to turn the body around this way. Now, a lot of places get you to leave the head like this and the face like this, but I've seen it also done where you turn the head around, and when you turn the head around, you basically leave it this way. I've seen that done. I don't know if there's any accuracy to it, but I've seen it done. Okay, hold on. Yes, it leans back like that, I do believe. And then these slide down, and then, yes, this opens out, this comes up all the way up and over. That's what it is. There, yeah, okay, so I kind of messed up this part, so I'm gonna show it again. The arms slide down, right? The arms, they should slide all the way down. Then you fold the whole torso back. You fold out the entire head, and then using the piece on the back where the spark drinker attaches, on that ratchet, you fold it all the way up and over to the front. And boom, in the end, here we have Metroplex in his work mode. I'm gonna go in a little bit closer, and we're gonna run through the articulation super fast here as well. Okay, so again, you can do what you want with the head. I like having this side out because it's like he's wearing like a mask or something, so I'm cool with that. Again, I guess if you really wanted, you could move the arms back. That's up to you. I don't know if there's actually a proper position, but forward seems, I don't know, it seems correct here. The articulation is really good, but I find some of the ratchets, like the shoulder ratchets, are stronger than the waist ratchets, so when I go to move the arm, he's going to actually like lean back more than I'd like for him to. So I find you do need to really get a good grip on him. The head, these can stay down by the way, the head can go left and right, just like it could before. The arms, they can still go all the way around, but man, that's a tight ratchets. Open all the way out. Bicep to 90 degrees and all of that. Some people, now this is where it gets interesting because some people do it this way, in which case if you do it this way, you got leg all the way out to the side, you've got a waist of course, you've got leg all the way forward and leg all the way back, and of course you've got a knee right there. Big bulky knee, but it's there. Some people prefer to leave him this way. You can do that, but if you do that, then your knee is limited to only that little bit, right? So I'm pretty sure that he's supposed to have the gold waist in this mode. So I'm just gonna leave him with the gold waist in this mode. Very easy to get here. I love how the legs fold up. I think it's very nice. I'm gonna say that the transformation to his work mode is a solid 9. Now I just back things up a bit so that when we do the transformation here, we can see everything. And from here, the transformation should be actually pretty darn easy if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm not mistaken. I really hope I'm not mistaken. For the transformation, the very first thing to note is that I'm pretty sure we are supposed to have the gold side here, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Then we need to, I guess, fold back these legs and fold them up thusly. If I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm not mistaken. Or am I? I might be here. Straighten that out, and then this goes down under. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Straighten this up, and then this goes down under. And can I put these together? Yeah, I can even put these together. Okay. 90 degrees. 90 degrees. And I think down like that. Am I doing this right? Does this look right? I hope this is right. I'm going to put these down. I put these up on the side. We should have both of those there and both of those back. And these need to flip back this way. Yeah, that's it. I was wondering what was going on there with those arms. So I was like, man, I'm pretty sure the treads are supposed to be facing back. Do that. And then finally, if I'm not mistaken, I'm saying finally, I hope I'm right. We should be able to now I'm having a bit of a problem here. Hold on. Yeesh! Okay, so I actually had to slide this back down, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know if they're supposed to be slid forward like this, or left back like this. I have no idea what the correct one is. I've seen pictures with it done both ways. But I had to actually slide this one forward, and I had to turn it so that none of this was on the top because it was stopping the wheel from allowing both of the pegs to peg in. So I had to sort of untransform that arm a bit. That said, it was my own fault because I should have probably put that in a little earlier. In this mode, I mean, he rolls fine. Honestly, you wouldn't really, I think, suspect it, but he rolls fine. I do still wish we had a locking point here. I find the ratchets on the arms, if I, when I was going to move it to put this on, caused the entire torso to unfurl and whatnot from its ratchets because the torso ratchets are not as strong as the shoulder ratchets. I think the transformation is still about a 9. The only issue that I have with it is I wish that the waist ratchets were stronger than the shoulder ratchets. Or the shoulder ratchets were weaker than the waist ratchet. That's about it. That's about my only real gripe. In this mode, like I said, he rolls great. This can turn. It does like to come out though, I'm not gonna lie. Like here we are again, it just came out of right there when I turned it. Look, and now, if I want to do it, like I gotta because again, of how it turned. I guess I turned it too much and it popped it out. Look, like honestly, you see the issues? Like that's poor tolerance issue. Great engineering, but whoever came up with these ratchets for these shoulders did not do this mold a service. And I really wish that this connected tighter than what it does. Still, for the time, this was leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of what was happening. Although Cybertron was quite good, generally that line was way better than Armada. I didn't find Armada or Energon that great, to be honest with you. When I've looked at select offerings from those, I haven't been that impressed. But Cybertron was a great line. Overall score for this guy, 9.75 for the look. A solid 9 for the articulation and a 9 for the transformation. Both of which are not 10s only because the shoulder ratchets are too strong. This could attach a bit better, and I wish there was a locking point here. That's it. That's the only gripes with this guy. Otherwise, he's fantastic and clocks in at least a solid 9.3, maybe even a 9.5. Not my Metroplex, but an excellent iteration of Cybertron Metroplex. And here we are once again, and here he is. So the robot mode is great. It's tall, it's big, lots of nice ratchet joints. I do feel like he's tall and lanky. Like, I feel like he should be a little bit wider, but I mean, he seems to match the animation. Maybe the animation was tall and lanky, right? Like I said, very little to complain about here. Some might complain about the size, and I admit maybe it should be a few inches bigger. I do wish we had a locking point for the slider of the arms, and I do wish that the chest piece here actually locked in somewhere in like robot mode, but that's about it. Otherwise, this is pretty great, and some 20 years later, a lot of the ratchets and joints have really held up super duper nicely. Like a real credit to Maximal 10 and the care he's taken with this. I also kind of wish, and this is just a personal gripe, I wish that the treads on the arms and the I guess feet had been painted rather than like blue. Like I wish they were painted black, say, with maybe silver in here, but that's very minor. This is excellent. Excellent transformation, astonishing articulation, really, for the time. Ankle tilt maybe, but excellent transformation, astonishing articulation, cool modes, very different. How often do we get a, like, you know, Wheel-Bucket Excavator? Never. This is it as far as I know. Maybe one of the Bayverse Constructicons might have had something like this. I can't recall. But boy, oh boy, how wildly creative. I'm not a Unicron Trilogy guy, but boy, oh boy, did Cybertron, that part. I didn't like Armada as much, didn't like Energon as much, but man, oh man, Cybertron gave us some really interesting bots, some really interesting designs. And this guy's one of them. And he scored phenomenally well because he is pretty phenomenal. Let me know what you think about the original Cybertron Metroplex. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.